Distinguished guests, business leaders, and visionaries from across the globe. Greetings from the Republic Media Network. The Republic Media Network is so proud to participate in this great event of yours. The Republic Media Network, which is based out of the National Capital Region in Delhi, is today one of the largest media and news networks, the television and news networks in India. But not just that. We are also bringing you this broadcast from one of the largest newsrooms in the world, in Asia. We believe in a free media, and we believe that a free media can not just bring the world together, but contribute to changing the narrative at a time when the world truly needs it. One day, I look forward to welcoming all of you individually, collectively, together here to the Republic Media Network headquarters. Today we stand at a pivotal moment in history, at a time when the world's geopolitical and economic plates are shifting beneath our feet as we speak. We are living in a world that is calling for a shift in the alliances we traded in the post-World War II, post-Cold War era, where economic hubs are not only changing, but redefining the macroeconomic landscape as we know it at the global stage. And you're doing this big event at a time when we're a quarter of a century into the millennium. And in 2025, it is not just hyperbole to say that a new global world order is emerging. History may not repeat itself, but it surely rhymes if you look back 100 years. In 1925, it was the Treaty of Versailles that was changing the geopolitical landscape of the then dominant Europe. Today, it is the tariff war that is reshaping the landscape of a dominant Asia. In 1925, there was a disillusionment post-World War I that led to the surge of nationalism. In 2025, after the COVID pandemic, after all that we've been through together, nations across the world increasingly understood the necessity of self-reliance, or what we here in India call Atmanirbharta. Self-reliance, further boosting the confidence of nations which have been bound down by their colonial past to break away from the shackles of the 20th century and regain their strength as a nation. The biggest fuel of which is a nationalist identity that is proud of its culture and civilization. Now, unfortunately, the roaring 20s of the 20th century masked the underlying economic weaknesses due to war debts and reparations that led to the collapse of the old world order. The economic challenges of today, however, be it inflation, supply chain issues, or post-COVID recovery, are as evident as they can get. Just like the 1920s, experiments of globalization seem to fail, with the United Nations too beginning to lose its relevance every passing day, like its erstwhile predecessor, the League of the Nations. However, it was not just challenges that emerged 100 years ago. There were also many opportunities. Industrial advances like electricity, automobiles, and radio transformed economies and societies, giving technological leaders geopolitical leverage, like in the case of the United States. And today as well, with the advent of AI, quantum computing, and renewable energy, we are at the precipice of redefining power as we know it. And when the two largest economies of the world are virtually locked in a staring contest on tariffs, I believe, and I'm sure you believe, that there is a huge opportunity for the rest of the world to utilize this moment to shatter the set notions of power dynamics, and through innovation and hard work, and work relentlessly to redefine their own identity, because 2025 is not 1925. There are no colonizers to suppress our collective potential. There can't be any hegemons who shape our destiny. And in my opinion, two of the biggest growth engines of this change that I speak so passionately about are intrinsically linked to two worlds that I have observed very closely: India and the media. Let me start from the land where I come from. India's continuing rise as a global growth engine is unprecedented. I'm sure you'll agree with me. And India has shown to the world that its own growth does not have to come at the detriment of others. India has shown the world that there can be sustainable growth with nationalist ambition for the greater good of the whole world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Because when one in every six citizens in the world makes their quality of life better, They also make this world a better place. So if I were to explain this meteoric shift in the Indian mindset in the last 10 years, then the best analogy would be that of a unicorn. Like a startup, not with $1 billion valuation, but with 1 billion aspirations. India is truly a unicorn when it comes to the revival it has seen in the last 10 years, from a fragile 5 economy to the 4th largest economy of the world. And it is all credited to the decade of structural reforms, strategic investments, and a clear vision of inclusive development, with a projected GDP growth of 6.5% plus in both fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 2026, which is the highest among the major economies. India's rise is no longer a promise. It is a reality. From the rollout of a streamlined goods and service tax regime to the tremendous success of the Unified Payments Interface or UPI, to game-changing initiatives like Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, our country has laid a strong economic foundation to realize an ambitious dream of developing itself like never before by the year 2047, when we in India will celebrate our 100th year of freedom from British colonialism. And all of this has been possible because of the massive investments, continuous investments in infrastructure and renewable energy, coupled with a thriving digital economy and a young, skilled, ambitious workforce that have positioned India at the heart of global growth. So therefore, in a rapidly changing world, shifting world, India is not just keeping pace, it is now setting the pace. And India has done this neither by being a fence-sitter, nor by taking any sides. India has done this by creating its own side, rooted deeply in national interest for international progress. One of the greatest cornerstones of India's global stature has been its pro-nation and pro-world foreign policy. When India talks to its partner countries, it neither wishes to look down upon them, nor does it want to be looked down upon. We speak as equals to everyone, and India wishes to look their partners in the eye, shake hands, and share the best that we have to offer through partnership, through just one lens, national interest, that is mutual beneficial growth and development through partnership. We believe no power is too big, no nation is too small. It is a talk amongst equals for the greater good of humanity. And when that becomes the guiding light of one's foreign and economic policy, then the grand picture emerges. When at intervals of just months, my Prime Minister Narendra Modi can stand in Kiev, Moscow and Washington and embrace all the 3 leaders with equal warmth. To the novice, it may feel that the world is polarizing today. But when you look at it through this lens, the world is increasingly moving towards multipolarity. And India's cultural philosophy of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, may all beings be happy, naturally guides us to a situation where we consider the whole world as our family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And these are not mere words, these are truths that India, that is Bharat, has believed in since millennia. It was only after the reclamation of this civilizational confidence in India, not discovery, reclamation, that India had the confidence to engage with the world with the same zeal that once made it the largest economic powerhouse before it was ravaged by its colonizers. Now, the Gulf nations too, our partners in the Gulf, our brothers and sisters in the Gulf, you've had your brushes with colonialism. And in the Gulf too, they have shown tremendous resilience to resolve all economic challenges, all the challenges that nature can throw at them, to give vision and direction to a thriving oasis of promise. India's relationship with the United Arab Emirates in particular shines as the biggest example in recent years of this shared tryst for progress rooted in national interest for the greater good of the world. Be it the much welcome addition of UAE and Saudi Arabia to the BRICS grouping, or the very successful G20 summit that was held in New Delhi that showed unprecedented inclusion, representation, and participation of nations from the global south. India is ready and capable of leading any effort the world chooses it for. The most unique aspect of the India and Middle East partnership is that both civilizations believe in setting up our aim on long-term goals, be it India's vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat for 2047, or Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, or United Arab Emirates' Vision of 2031, as nations working together. We are all excited, ambitious, and we are looking with promise and optimism decades into the future. It is this fortitude that is the biggest strength of our partnership. Just look at the magical transformation that many countries in the Middle East have seen in the last 25 years. And yet, whenever I talk to anyone from the region, they have the same zeal and passion to look into the future and the ambition to create the next big thing. That infectious ambition, combined with the grit, talent, and diversity of India, can forge a partnership that no one in the world has seen before. The India-Middle East Partnership. The India-Middle East Partnership, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a regional alliance, it is a global game changer in the making. In fiscal year 2024, India's trade with the Gulf Cooperation Council stood at a staggering $161.59 billion. Now, what is that? That is a testament to our mutual faith, to our belief in each other, and our deepening economic interdependence between us. At the heart of this momentum is the India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which has nearly doubled bilateral trade in just 3 years, from $43.3 billion to $83.7 billion. Even more significantly, non-oil exports alone reached $27.4 billion. Proof that this partnership is evolving far beyond just hydrocarbons. With a shared goal of $100 billion in non-oil trade by 2030, our countries are laying the foundation for a future where innovation, infrastructure, and inclusive growth define our engagement. So this is not just about trade, this is about rewriting the rules of global cooperation led by trust, talent, and a common vision. Which brings me to a very important part of my address, the world of the media. And I wanted to share this with you. I truly believe that media and technology, and as I say this to you, I hope to welcome you to the Republic Media Network headquarters soon. I believe that media and technology can be that thread that ties our collective vision for a better and more equitable world. For far too long, deeply entrenched biases against our civilizational identities, our history, and our culture have been weaponized to cast a shadow on all the good that we are delivering to the world. If a new world order is to emerge, if a new story is to be written, then new storytellers too will have to emerge. We must cast the negative narratives being put forward aside and bring the voice of change and progress back to global discourse. But through a voice that comes from amongst us. I am always proud to share that we here at the Republic Media Network are very close to becoming one of those vehicles of change. We have the talent, we have the infrastructure, and we have the intent to deliver that change very soon. And our motivation comes through platforms like this, which in the interim, as we in Republic prepare to have global news and global brands and cover the world, these events play a critical role in filling that gap of a voice that can best represent our interests to the rest of the world, free of bias, free of prejudice, and full of possibility and positivity. I firmly believe that it will be transparent discourse rooted in truth and national interest that will become the vehicle of change that the world needs to bridge that final gap in communication for a better tomorrow. So as I stand before all of you today, I urge each one of you, not just as leaders or delegates and global leaders, industry leaders, but as torchbearers of this new epoch, to carry forward the spirit of renewal. The 21st century will be remembered not for which superpower won the race, but for how humanity rose together to redefine power itself. Let us not be passive witnesses to the tides of change. Let us be bold architects of a new destiny, where collaboration triumphs over conflict, innovation over stagnation, and truth over propaganda. The India-Middle East Partnership is not just a tale of mutual benefit. It is a clarion call to the world that civilizational confidence, faith in ourselves, backed by visionary leadership and shared values, can move mountains. This is not just a new chapter, this is a new book, and we, all of us, are the authors. So let us write it with purpose, pride, and with power. The world is watching. Let us make history worth remembering together. Thank you all for being with me today. And next time, I look forward to meeting you all in person. Jai Hind.